school. So I have permission to use their music, but that doesn't mean that YouTube's not going to give it a thumbprint and dock us here. But quite honestly, we need to test those things during beta test week here.
Yeah, without question. We're just trying to have fun. We joked around with our real beta launch, soft launch Sunday night, late at night, that we were gonna launch every single episode with a great song from Daft Punk. But unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to do that. So we're gonna find creative ways to work around that and to just have some fun and get everybody fired up for the amazing guests that we have on, hopefully every episode.
Yeah, and so far, man, we're celebrating. We could have gone a couple different directions here. We had Dave Lamont yesterday. Our guest today queued up is Dave Ryan. We'll bring him in just a moment. But we could keep going down the broadcaster route, or we could keep going down the Dave route. And later, at the very end of the show, we're going to announce which route we're going to go. So that's a cliffhanger for everybody out there. Are we going to go the Dave route, or are we going to go the public figure announcer crew, so to speak, route? So we will tell that at the very end of the show, in the last 5 seconds of the show. So stick around for that. Matt, yesterday we talked about various amount of topics after we talked with the wonderful Dave Lamont, who was an excellent first guest. Trivia question for everybody.
Yeah.
And we did have 8 viewers yesterday, and we talked to Dave Ryan ahead of time, and we told him that we need to get to 9 today. So he did invite 2 people, since Lamont invited 1 yesterday. So we should have our most viewership ever here today.
Yes, I think so. And I think I like the trend of continuing with the majestic voices. Dave Lamont got some pipes on him. Today's guest, Dave Ryan, again, another great set of pipes. He's an accomplished professional in his own right. And I don't know, we've got these 2 routes, the public figure announcer type route or the Dave route. I don't know if it's the Dave that makes them so nice to listen to, or if it's the profession. I'm not really sure.
I'm not either. So with no further ado, I think just to let everybody know that we will be talking about some topics in bowling towards the end of the show, like we did yesterday. That's our format so far. But because we do queue up these guests ahead of time, and for technology, and because that's why everybody's really here, because we're just a couple of hot air balloons sitting over here. Let's bring in our guest. He is somebody who's dedicated a lot of time to broadcasting over the years. He's helped teach other people. He's broadcasted many, many different sports, and he falls in line with a lot of other bowling commentators that we've had over the years. We've been blessed to have some really unique and great voices that transcend all sports. And what he's been able to do in bowling, you can tell he really dedicates himself to the sport of bowling, understanding bowling, and he treats it as if it's any other sport out there. So let's bring in our guest today from the Northeast, right up by you, Matt, Dave Ryan. Dave, welcome to the program here today. It's great to have you.
Hey, guys. Good to be part of Beta Week. I appreciate that. My vote, without question, is for more Daves. So if you want to go get Dave Schroeder, the PBA. We have Dave Fleming, great announcer for ESPN. Dave Pash. These are all Syracuse guys. So I think the Dave theme should just keep rolling. Why would you want to stop the Daves?
Well, we would appreciate some connections here. If you want the Daves to keep going, we would love to keep the Daves rolling here.
I'll get you some digits. I'll get you some email addresses. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, we could all test out. We'll have a little stream party, our introduction, whatever works for you, Dave.
I love it. Thanks for having me on Inside Bowling, guys. It's really cool. We were talking a bit before we got the show going today. It's not easy. I hope everyone is safe. Everyone is staying home and adhering to all the rules that your county commissioners and mayors and governor of your state, wherever you are, or whatever country you're in watching right now. That's the most important thing. But man, I can't wait to get back to work and wait to get back on bowling and the other sports we do. It's been a strange time, good family time, but I think I can speak for a lot of people where it's to that point where we're ready to get back to work and start cracking again.
Yeah, for sure. I guess my question for you would be how is this affecting your life right now? What's going on at home? Your wife Tess takes care of the kids and everything you have going on there. You're on a lot. What's it like now for you?
Well, it's a lot of home time, obviously, Mike. We are doing the best we can we have 6 kids in the house. So we have it's like Full House, that old show. 8 is enough. Kind of feel like the old That old variety show on ABC back in the day. You guys might be too young for that, but put it on YouTube. It was a good one. It's busy here. We have 6 kids at home, ranging from foster twins who are 4 months old to 3 grade school kids to a college kid, all home. Doing virtual school, doing online classes. We have 3 dogs, 3 cats. At last count, 11 chickens. I've taken up gardening. I've become a big gardener. So far, a couple leaves of lettuce have come out. Some spinach that was really good. 1 strawberry, and 1 tomato.
Nice.
So the yield is still TBA in the yield. Maybe you can have me on your show later on in the summer or whenever. Later on, at some point, we can talk about it. I can bring some of the veggies out. So we got squash going and beans and tomatoes. I tried corn. That was a big failure. Truly failure. I've got it fenced in, but critters got in the other night and took out one bed of my stuff. It was kind of heartbroken. It's like a father losing, your kids. I can't believe that my beans are gone. But I do a lot of research on that. Spending a lot of time outside. We do have a trampoline in the backyard. We have a pool in the backyard. We're in Florida, so it's 90 degrees, very humid, good pool weather. We're trying to keep the kids on a regular schedule. So we do a couple hours of academics. They have Zoom meetings with their teachers. And then we do a lot of free time, do a lot of chores. Like, they're learning a lot about the house and about life that I think they wouldn't if they were at school and doing their basketball or soccer practice or piano lessons. Like, everybody's home, everyone's helping. So I feel like it's a flashback, or it's a time travel to time way past, because everyone's together and we're all lending a hand. Like, my 7-year-old watered all the trees yesterday. We just put in, and he wouldn't do that otherwise. Like, you put it on his chore list and he does it. Like, so I think there are a lot of really great aspects of this that have come out of the family life here, and I think that's a real positive. But it's a lot of work. Like, I'm doing 2 or 3 loads of dishes a day because everyone's eating at home. We can't go out. We'll do DoorDash or maybe once every couple of weeks, but it's a lot of cooking and it's a heck of a lot of cleaning. It's hard to keep a house clean with all these pets and kids, man.
Yeah, it sounds like I just have one question personally from that, and then I'll let Matt follow up.
Yeah.
The trampoline. Can you do a backflip?
No, I have seen too many and read about too many injuries. I'm a really cautious type. I don't know. You guys don't know me that well, but I'm not going to take chances like that. I'll just do the seat jump and then on the knees jump, and then that's cool. My kids can do flips, though. They can't do a backflip. They can do a front flip pretty well. They're pretty amazing on it. But it's a really good workout. It's like 1,000% humidity right now in Florida. It's really hot and sticky. So you get out there in the morning, and it's like a full aerobic 30 minutes. I mean, you really are sweating afterwards. So it's fun for everybody. And look, my wife's given the speech a few times. Look, we got an acre of land, we got a pool, a trampoline. I don't want to hear any whining about not going to school and going to work. Like, we've had a few of those to keep everyone, in the right frame of mind. It's not easy.
That is great. It sounds like you guys should start your own show. Like your own, maybe a gardening family show. Your team's going around watering the trees. You're fighting off these critters from trying to eat your corn. It sounds like it could be a really good big hit on YouTube.
It may be, Matt. I think that's a good idea. I'm not sure, Mike, we talked about this when we spoke in Dallas last season, but in 2013, I was doing the Mountain West on CBS Sports Network, so college football. So we decided, wouldn't it be cool to take an RV from Florida and take it on the road for your football schedule? So at that point, I was working with Adam Marcelletta, who's moved on now to the NFL and CBS. And Evan Washburn, who also has moved on to the NFL and CBS, was our sideline. So we drove from Florida in an RV, towing a minivan with at that point, we had 4 kids, 2 dogs, an au pair from Norway, whose English was, 50-50. And we drove it like 6,000 miles. And we ran little snippets like during the football season for the GoRVing.com thing that was sponsored. But I wish we had camera crew on that thing. You talk about wacky. I almost turned back like 5 times. We had some crazy. We left with 2 dogs, came back with 1. The 1 dog actually went to my wife's aunt's farm. Sometimes you say, oh, the dog went to the farm. In this case, she did. And she's alive and well. Olive lives in Iowa now, but it was a while. a wild adventure. So I think maybe that's a good idea, Matt. Maybe we should have a camera crew or just do it ourselves and try to put it on YouTube. And I'm too busy cleaning to edit.
Yeah,
It's
kind of like my MO is I come up with these ideas,
right,
and I don't really take into account all the other things that either I have on my plate or somebody else has on their plate. So I'm telling you, just to, fire up with this YouTube down here. But you're cleaning. There's 8 people in your house. You got 40 chickens in the backyard that are like laying eggs left and right. And YouTube channel is probably not in the cards right now.
Maybe not. One of the funniest part of my day is when you bring out the compost, because I'm super green. So I bring the compost out, and the chickens, when they're out, we let the chickens out to roam. The dogs in a few times a day. So it's fenced in, it's safe. And the second you open the door, the chickens charge you. And they're like friendly. They're all hens. They're layers. They lay eggs. So we get like 6-7 eggs a day. And they just charge you, and they want whatever you have, leftover waffles, pancakes, toast. Like they're like little dogs. Like they're begging for your bread or crumbs or crackers or whatever. It's watching a chicken run at full speed is pretty funny.
We do have an interactive show here today, and we do invite folks to get involved in the program. And Jeremy Witt has a question here. Dave, do you bowl like yourself at all? He asked for league specifically, but and what made you decide to start being an announcer with the PBA or bowling in general? And finally, he's got lots of questions here. My favorite question I like to ask: who was your favorite bowler growing up, and who did you love?
Oh man, those are all good questions, Jeremy. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the questions. So I do not bowl league. I consider myself very athletic. Even at 52, I still run, ride the bike a lot, and do a lot of weights and a lot of stretching, a lot of yoga. So I think I'm in decent shape. And back in the day, I played a lot of hoops, tennis, football, and a lot of baseball growing up. Never a bowler. And those who have seen me try, it is pretty ugly. I'm a lefty, and I just cannot get the ball to hook. I've tried. I've taken Randy's given me lessons before, giving me good personal instruction, and it's an ugly thing. So there is video because we did some promo video for our PWBA shows on CBS Sports Network last year. Maybe I'll get that to you, Mike or Matt, and you guys can work your magic with it. It's ugly. It's ugly. So no, I do not bowl league. When I was in Syracuse at WSTM TV, we had a TV pair of lanes. So I was able to call 2 bowling shows a week, and the late great Marty Perano, legend in the Syracuse and national and worldwide bowling scene, was my analyst. And Joe Ciccone, former PBA bowler who now works our shows every week on CBS or Fox, was a participant in the show. So we had a challenge bowling show for the kids, championship bowling show. That was adults who bowl for a little bit of money, not $2, not much. So that's how I got started doing bowling. I didn't know bowling at all at that point. So I was like 26 years old, 27 years old, and then got my big break at ESPN a few years later. They asked me to fill in, and I don't remember who the voice of the PBA was at that time. It was a one-show fill-in. I'm thinking, guys, it's right around 1999. I was in North Carolina. And then they called me
99.
Yeah. So then they called me before the 2002 season and asked me to be the full-time voice. So it was a thrill to work with Randy for 5 years. Mike knows the story. I met my wife at a bowling center in Lava Lanes in Medford, Oregon, home of the Medford Meteor. So I owed all the bowling. I've been married 13 years and have now 5 kids if you include the foster twins together. So I really do love the sport. Probably Earl Anthony growing up, thinking about that. Probably Dick Weber, the guys that I watched, because as a kid, I'm 52. So in the 70s, when bowling was on every week, it was such a big deal. I mean, there was so little content for live sports that was on the air. There was no ESPN, NBCSN, CBSSN, didn't exist. So we would watch. My dad and I would watch. We watch every live sport we possibly could. My dad was a huge hockey fan as well. So when Peter Puck was on in between periods on NBC, that was my favorite part as a little kid, watching the animated Puck and that whole bit on NBC back in the day. But we watched Monday Night Baseball. We watched Monday Night Football. I mean, only child growing up and at that point in Iowa City, Iowa, as a little kid, like I told Mike this last year, like I used to walk to Iowa games myself. I was probably 7, 8 years old, walking by myself. Now I wouldn't let my kids walk 10 feet by themselves now on a street. So life is a lot different then. That's a lot of questions, a lot of answers, Jeremy, to your questions, but hopefully that answered everything. It's kind of a compilation for me. I've always been around sports, so loved it. And to me, it's a thrill to be asked to do a live sporting event, to narrate, to add to the viewer's experience. Like, that's what I tell my broadcast students now. It's about enhancing what they're seeing. How do I make it better? The live action, watching Jason Belmonte win the world championship in Vegas a few weeks ago, that you can't top that, because that's the best bowler in the world winning a major championship. But you can make it better for the viewer by adding some emotion, some energy, some facts, some history to sort of encapsulate everything. And that's what I love about broadcasting, just being there and being the final voice of a big moment.
Yeah. I do have a follow-up on that. You mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned one thing about Dick Weber, being one that you looked up to. And then you also mentioned that I know the story of how you met your wife in Medford, Oregon, your wife Tess. And I think that those two mentions there, one involves Pete Weber. I'd like for you to touch on that story. But I mention these things because there's a Pete Weber and Dick Weber reference in there. One that you mentioned, one that I knew that the audience didn't know. But yesterday, I'm not sure if you saw this or not. But
Yeah,
you did. Yeah, we learned the passing of Juanita Weber, and would like to get your response into your thoughts on Juanita Weber in general, and the passing, and how you felt when you saw that, and then take us through a little bit about how you met your wife involving.
sure. Well, it's so sad, and of course, my thoughts and every ounce of energy and of love and good feelings out to Pete and family. Was such a great woman, and someone who had been such a big part of that bowling royalty for so many years. I saw Pete's post on Facebook yesterday, and it was just your heart kind of melts. It's just devastating to see that, especially coming directly from him. And now that social media is so important, now everyone's quarantined at home. We're on our phones and tablets constantly. And so I saw Randy's reaction, Randy Peterson on Facebook yesterday too, and it was just some really beautiful things were written about Juanita and about the family. So sorry to hear about the loss. If Pete is listening or hears about this, love you, Pete, and our thoughts are with you for sure. That's got to be so hard. I do remember doing the U.S. Open just after Dick passed away, and you guys might remember that show. We were live in North Brunswick in New Jersey, and Randy, just talking about the top of a live show on ESPN, had an emotional moment, and he didn't completely break down, but it was close. He was tearing up, and that's one thing I'll never forget. I just sort of pat him on the shoulder, and you're on live TV, so you enhance the moment, of course, appreciate what that was about, and then try to get Randy to talk about Dick Weber and move on to the rest of the broadcast. Those are such hard moments, and I hope Pete, you're at peace today for sure. So Mike, on a much lighter note, Medford, Oregon, Lava Lanes is a PBA tour stop, and I'd done the East-West Shrine Bowl in San Francisco the day before. So I flew in directly to Medford, and you guys been there. The Medford airport is almost directly connected to Lava Lanes. You almost could leave and walk right into the bowl. It's right next to it. So I walked in, there were some 6 women there I didn't recognize. I was divorced and single, and the timing was unbelievable. And I met my wife, and she did not really have much of an interest in me at all. It was sort of a passing interest. It was more like, nice to meet you. A full year passed, and the same event came around. And this time her friends emailed me a couple weeks before, "Hey, Tess is looking forward to seeing you again." I'm like, really? Because nothing happened at all. I hadn't heard a word from her in a whole year. Even gave her my fancy ESPN business card. So that didn't work. So I assumed that she had moved on, I had moved on, but it worked out great. We've been together since. We've been together 17 years, married 13 years in June, 5 kids together now, and I don't know, chickens, dogs, cats. Been great. But the reason Tess went to that bowling center was because of Pete Weber. So she and her friends read about Pete in the New Yorker magazine, and they said, boy, it would be really cool to create a Pete Weber fan club. Now, they were not bowling fans. They didn't know a thing about bowling. They were in a bowling league, but not really fans, but they were intrigued by Pete. So they did a website, they did T-shirts, they went down and they went all out. So the first year that they went, Pete won that event. And all the ladies were on the show. They're the front row seat, and they were cheering. I'll never forget when Pete finished out that tournament and clinched it and pumped his fist to the camera. You can see Tess, she's cheering. It was hilarious. And when Pete walked into the bar year one, when Tess was not interested, he saw all the ladies with the Pete Weber fan club T-shirts and assumed they really were huge fans of his. But it was more for fun. They didn't really know that much about him. And they certainly never thought they'd meet him face to face. But all of a sudden, there he's at the bar, and they all shook hands and had fun. And that's when I came in. So it was like a 2-year saga, Mike. That story it's pretty deep, pretty long, but that's how we met. We've been together since. It's been amazing. And she moved to Syracuse for me. He must really love somebody to move to Central New York for somebody. That's a big commitment. I love Syracuse. I lived there 25 years, but the winters are really tough. So that's true love. That's true love.
Yeah, it definitely is. And not only do you have your true love with Tess, and we did talk about that a little more in depth on our podcast that we were recording, but in addition to that, you also found, and you touched on it earlier today, and as we've been talking to you about your love for broadcasting, and you were a very young age, and you would go to Hawkeye games, go there by yourself, and you would, like you mentioned, you'd walk there and through the tunnels and everything, and you'd go and you watch the games, and then tell everybody kind of what you did when you were younger. I think this is a great story regarding recording yourself broadcasting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good memory on that. So I'm guessing, Mike, that was, let's just say I'm 10 years old. Okay. So this is 1977 in Iowa City, Iowa, different era, different time. We were free range kids back then. We are no phones, obviously, no internet, obviously. I mean, my parents probably said, come home when the game ends. So I'm an only child. I actually went to the Iowa ticket office, bought a $3 obstructed view seat in the old Iowa Fieldhouse. And look at this. I do have a picture. See Ronnie Lester, if you guys can see that. So you can see the big poles there. That's the old Iowa Fieldhouse. So if you bought a ticket for $3, let's see, there with the camera, for $3, obstructed view meant you were behind one of those huge poles. But if you were savvy like I was at 10 years old, you just moved as soon as you got there. You got in the building and you found a better seat. So I went to those games, and my all-time favorite Hawkeye is Ronnie Lester. He was an absolute legend. He led them to the Final Four. Their one great run with Lute Olson. And then he won a couple NBA titles as a backup with Michael Jordan with the Bulls. He didn't play much, but he was on, I think, 2 of those teams. So I'd walk to the games myself. This is winter months in Iowa, so we're probably talking 10 degrees. These are school nights, weeknights. I leave the house probably at, let's say, 6 o'clock, pitch dark, 20-minute walk to the old Iowa hospitals, and these myriad of horror movie tunnels underneath the hospital you had to go through. And if you took you were the only one down there. There were no cameras back then. It wasn't well lit. There were no signs. There were just all these pipes and crazy long tunnels, and it ended right in front of the old field house where Iowa played back in the day. So I did this by myself. I go to the game. Halftime, I go down to the locker room of the opposing team because you could get right next to the players and watch them walk in. I was 10 years old. Then I come back from the game and go into a cassette recorder and do a recap, like a post-game show. So I was doing some early training at a very young age.
Wow.
Now, as I said earlier, with all my kids now, I would never let them walk that far by themselves. I have trouble letting my 10-year-old go around the corner on his bike to our little park here in our development in Florida. That's stressful to me. Watch for cars, wear your helmet, don't talk to strangers, But back in the day, we just did whatever. And I mean, there were school nights. Now, this is I can't remember if I told you the story last year, but I think I did. So the best part of that whole story is that I told my mom one day, I said, Mom, I want to skip school. And she said, why do you want to skip school? I said, well, Michigan State is coming to play Iowa tonight, and I want to go to their shoot around. So if you do the math, I was probably about 12 years old. So Judd Heathcote, Michigan State, you know who was on that team, right? Magic Johnson. So I skipped school to go watch the Michigan State shoot around. Now, back in the day, they had these canvas movable walls, you know, those huge curtains in gyms that would separate part of the gym. Well, in this case, they had it all around the game court at the field house. So it was closed practice. And I'm at probably 11 or 12 years old. I just walked in. No one said a thing to me. I sat there and watched. And I wish, of course, you know, nowadays you have a phone, you can take video and pictures. I didn't have a camera with me, but I had a notebook. So I was writing things down. And no one from Michigan State came over and said, "What? You know, who are you? What are you doing here? It's closed practice." Like, I just watched the whole thing. And it was a game day shoot around. It was probably like an hour and 15. But I remember like standing and watching Magic. You know, the high white socks, the green practice. I can just see it now in my head like it was yesterday. So those are the things I did as a little kid, man. I was training early.
So I think, you know, it's a really cool memory to see, I guess, for yourself and for us to see you do, you know, as an athlete, as a broadcaster, the really great professionals start at such a young age. And I think that's one of the reasons, Dave, you got lucky. I was trying for 2 hours last night to find some footage of yours from the 1989 Big East basketball tournament.
Oh,
Where that happened to be the year where you won a big New York State Broadcasting Award. What was that like? You were doing radio back then, right?
Yeah, so I was still in school back then, Matt, and I was lucky enough to win the Bob Costas Award for the top sportscaster at the Newhouse School. So that's an amazing honor. There were a lot of great sportscasters in the class of '89 when I was at Syracuse my senior year. So, of course, Ian Eagle won the next year. Mike Tirico won the year before. I mean, we had some unbelievable talent at that time and still do. And the Newhouse School is still churning out incredible announcers on a regular basis. But that was a really cool award. And then later on, the New York State Broadcasters Association gave Channel 3, WSTM, the top award for coverage of the Big East tournament. And we won a couple of awards too as a sports department. It was pretty cool. It's hard to remember those times, Matt. It's a long time ago, man. That is a long time ago. But I appreciate the research. I'll give you an A+ for that.
Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so this is Matt's first show. Like, you know, this is his third show, but this is his first show that he's ever done, and he's been doing a great job for us. And I'm making him produce the show as well. So this is on the job training here. We've had some awesome people join. Christy Kent said hello, Dave.
Hey, always good. Great to hear from those guys. I miss seeing everybody at these events. That's the best part of doing either the PBA or the PWA or any USBC event is so many of the great bowling family is there. It's a chance to catch up. So, hey, Chrissy.
The great Rick Barbera, who just had an article written in Bowler's Journal about him,
awesome.
Also checked in, who has dedicated his entire life to bowling and still doing it.
Yeah.
One of the best guys in bowling. He's checking in and saying hello. But back to Matt and his producing role here. You know, he's really doing this research and everything. And I've also got him working on putting together some videos. So yesterday we did a thing with Dave Lamont. And we wanted to put you on the spot today as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been watching Joe Buck on Twitter? They've been sending him in random clips to do commentating.
Ooh. Oh, is that right? That's cool. I haven't caught that. That's best. I've been too busy cleaning the house and feeding the chicken. I've become a hobby farmer. No, I haven't seen that, but it's really cool.
Well, Dave, we figured since you probably haven't been doing much broadcasting other than maybe running around hatching eggs or whatever, Matt thought it would be a good idea again today to test your skills and sharpen the saw a little bit since you probably, you know, are a little rusty. And we wanted to help your agreements you have with the networks to make sure you're ready to go when we come out of this thing. So
I appreciate that.
I'm going to just hand the show off over to Matt Farber, and Matt's he's picked five clips, I believe it is today,
Sweet.
for you to commentate, and we can see what you make of this. So Matt, take it away.
All righty, thanks, Mike. Yeah, so So let me just pull up my screen here. We got 5 fun videos. Some are a little bit longer than the other.
Okay.
And some have like slow-mo replays afterwards. Some don't.
Ooh.
So you can like take us back through. But they're from big moments in history and sporting history.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pull this up real quick here. Let's just make sure that you can see this. Okay, can you see this? All right.
Oh.
All right. So
I see some fish.
Yeah. So perfect. That's exactly what you
Okay.
should see. So this is the first video here. It's going to kind of get right into it. This one's a little quick. The ones afterwards have a little bit of time before the video really gets going to where you can kind of like ease into it. But this one is a little quick. All right. So you ready?
But wait. Before we start this, Matt, you should know that every summer we go to Alaska. I've learned a lot about grizzly bears in Alaska. So this is in fact a grizzly bear.
Perfect. We might just play
in for salmon
over again.
These are salmon who are going. They're going to spawn. So they're headed upstream. The grizzly bears hang out and try to make a catch. I've learned a little bit. I mean, they're amazing creatures.
This is like a pregame show. This is like a pregame show. This is perfect. You
got to get ready. You got to get loose.
You got to get loose.
I haven't caught anything in so long. They're massive creatures.
Massive creatures.
The most important thing is don't go near one.
Right.
They're actually not interested in people at all. But if you happen to sometimes people hiking in Alaska will just basically surprise one. That's bad.
That's bad.
Go the other way.
Perfect. All right. So get ready. This is your commentating debut here with this. I don't know what we call this section of the show, but we're gonna have to find out a name for it. But here's clip number 1 for you.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone, here at the Kenai Peninsula in Alaska. And yes, the salmon are heading upstream to spawn. Some of the huge grizzly bears are waiting for a meal. And there's a reach to the right. It's a tremendous hand mount. That was too fast.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another one. So these bears are sometimes 1,000 pounds. They can wait there all day. And it's interesting that bears will at times take their fish just to the shore, knock it against a few rocks to loosen things up before they finish off the meal. Now, these bears can stay at this spot, this fishing hole, for up to 10 hours at a time. They've got very thick coats. You can see that water is about 45 degrees. It's very cold. But they're patient animals. They're extraordinary hunters. But they will be there 10 full hours and will devour up to 20 fish in one sitting. And they'll go back the next day and do the same thing. This is during the spawning season. These are red salmon, I believe. I don't think they're kings. They're too small. They're red. And the season is about 2 weeks long or so. Thousands of salmon are coming from the Pacific Ocean upstream to the Kenai River in Alaska to spawn, lay their eggs. It's their last act of life. And they're nourishing these beasts, these tremendous grizzly bears who need a good meal. They'll eat fish all day long.
That was great. That was amazing.
My first ever, I've never done fishing.
I can't believe that he saw one fish over a waterfall.
I figure it had to be that.
This is crazy. I think the next 4 are gonna maybe throw him a little bit here.
That made it too easy.
And you weren't really supposed to see. You're supposed to just go in.
Oh, ahead of time. Okay, you're supposed to react. I got you.
Yeah. So
you tell me when to look, and I'll
these next ones have some black screen here, so you got a little break here with the first one. I got
to warm up with the grizzly bears.
So this next one, big sporting event. It's from the World Series. So just make sure it's a real serious moment. It's really intense. Right. It's the last inning. It's bottom of the inning. It's just really big time moment here in sports history. All right. Here we go. The clip is running.
Okay. Roll the tape. No. Well, we got a wiffle ball world championship, and it comes down to these 2 tremendous players, or 3 tremendous players. This young man is from Vienna, Austria. Yes, they do play wiffle ball in Austria now. And the Australian pitcher is on the mound. There's a fastball. That ball is hammered to deep right. It is gone. It's a game win. Oh, he can't even hit the bases. He's so excited. Around third, and home he goes for the world championship. The Austrians have beaten the Australians in the World Wiffle Ball Championship. It's a day remember, or Austria. I don't know. How was that? Oh, we're still going? Here is a replay of the winning home. It was a fastball that just hung up in the zone. And young Wolfgang Dieter took it deep. What swing. What a fall through for this young man who will be forever remembered in Vienna.
All right, perfect. This third one's from a show that there's a good chance that you've probably seen it. There's a really great show.
Wow.
Just built with just pure athletes, celebrities. You'll see a celebrity coach about halfway through. So yeah, just here we go. Break it down. It's got some slow-mo instant replays afterwards.
And here we are, ready for this competition. These two gladiators will not be denied. Everyone knows how much is on the line. You can see that Wesley Two Scoops Berry, the contenders coach, is doing everything he can to get the contender in this gladiator battle. 30 seconds on the Arbitron is up now, and here we go. The person who can stand is the win. Oh, I believe it's over. This is over. The contenders have won. Let's get a replay and find out what exactly happened. It was the loss of balance. And clearly some of the equipment went to the... Oh. Hey, I'll say one thing about this surprise element of your show.
Yes.
It emphasizes how important preparation is in our business.
Yeah.
Listen, man, if you're not ready, fully prepped, and understand rules, and first of all, who's competing?
Yeah, the first one kind of you were set up for success because you were prepared. You had all that knowledge.
All the background knowledge.
You had the screenshot.
You guys should research. It's a place called Kodiak Island in Alaska, and Alaskan residents, once a year you get into a lottery, and if you win the lottery, you get a special ticket, and it's not cheap. Like it's, I don't know, $500 a person, but they'll actually take you to the island and they have this amazing grizzly bear observation area. So you camp out in a walled, like you're with park rangers and you're safe, but it's a wall camping area. You're in a tent because there are a lot of bears around. And they take you out for walks and you can observe the bears for hours. I didn't get to go, but my daughter went, and my in-laws have been a bunch of times. It's pretty cool.
That's great. That's great. All right. You're about 60% of the way done here with your torture. This next one is from a historical clip. It's a world record clip. So make sure, it's a cool clip. So here
was that the Gladiators, by the way?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, American Gladiators, right?
Yes. Yep.
Didn't watch that very much.
All right, here we go.
Okay, roll it. Oh my! Welcome back, everyone, to this world competition. This is about agility. This is about staying low. This is about flexibility to try to somehow avoid all of those plastic rods across the ice. How does one do it? Now, the issue, of course, is flexibility. You have to have the ability to stay into a split for minutes at a time. And so few people in the world can do that. Years of training is involved. Try to have that sort of flexibility and that mental strength. Now, as he goes to that last run and the last amount of distance, clearly with the cameras, light bulb flashing, he has done it. He has set the world record for distance in a split on, I think it's ice skates under incredibly low plastic rods. I don't know how he physically did it. The issue is, how can he get up? Will anyone help this person up from this split? Because that could be something that would hurt for years to come. I think the trick. Oh, it's a child. How in the world did that person stay in that position that long?
Yes,
was that like a Guinness Book of World Records thing?
That event is called limbo skating. That kid has
limbo skating.
Yeah, he's from New Delhi, India.
You call limbo skating, Matt. Just get me a research pack, give me a website, give me a week, I'm good.
All right, so this last one here that we've got for you is a playoff of a video that we played yesterday. Yesterday there's a horse race track called Canterbury Park. And yesterday, for our buddy Dave Lamont, we played a clip. They have these extreme animal races, and yesterday we played a clip from a llama and unicorn race. And today we've got another clip which is more action packed. This is great. I found another clip here. So just be aware, it's of a zebra race. So the clip is rolling. Here we go.
We're right here at Canterbury Park for the zebra race of 2020, and they're off. Farber leads Flanagan. Ryan is lagging behind. We're looking for Peterson. Peterson has been thrown from his zebra. Now it's Farber in the lead, and Flanagan is trying to find the best way to the and down. Oh, Farber has been thrown. Farber throws his rider. In the end, only one rider is on his zebra. It's Ryan. Ryan is the winner. Zebra race champion is our number one zebra internationally. It's Ryan.
Oh man, what a
that was bad.
What a great job, man. What a great job.
Yeah, great job.
Those zebras do not go straight. They're
not meant for racing, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
Your jockeys really have to have colors because you can't tell them apart. No two zebras are alike, but those stripes are pretty hard to
wow.
differentiate. That was challenging.
Yeah, that is tough. That's really tough.
Woo!
Improv is also sometimes a skill that you have to do on the fly. So hopefully we help prepare you for
I guess these things live forever, but that will not be any resume reel of mine.
I was going to say, yesterday we went and we found a YouTube channel, which everybody should go subscribe to, by the way, Dave Ryan on YouTube. And we saw that you had these little reels. And I was going to say, we could clip this for you if you want. And you can upload it to your channel and you can have it there. This way, when, in the future, if you're ever trying to get into zebra racing or world record calling, you can possibly the professional wiffle ball league. You can have.
I mean, I think the wiffle ball. I played a lot of wiffle ball as a kid. It's kind of right down my alley. But boy, the other sports were very, very challenging. The Grizzly Bear fishing. I was on a loop. That was challenging because of the loop. I'll be honest with you. But boy, preparation is the key. You need to know the sport you're calling. That kid it wasn't ice. They're roller skates, right?
Yeah, roller skates.
That was physically how did he physically do that?
I don't know, dude. I can't.
Wow.
How do you
I mean, little kids are flexible, but that's a new level.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, that was a blast, and thanks for being on board. We do have a question from Lee Champion watching every day. He says, "What's your toughest PBA, or what was your toughest PBA?"
Ooh. Wow. That's a really good question, Lee. That is a really good question.
Would it maybe be the first one?
Well, it was in Wichita with Randy in 2002. That was the first one I did with Randy when we started that 5-year run together as the voices of the PBA tour. I think maybe going back to that U.S. Open after Dick Weber passed was really hard because there was so much emotion. I'll tell you what. The two shows Randy was on. One that he won in Springfield, Pennsylvania, which is his last title in Philly. So Brian Voss came in and filled in for Randy. You guys remember that one? I'm sure it's on YouTube. He called Randy Pedersen the entire show. So I kept correcting him. I said, BV, it's Peterson. You know him well? Okay, got it. We've been commercial break. Okay, are you sure you got it? No problem. Come out of commercial break. He says he refers to him as Pedersen every single time. And to this day, I'm not sure what all happened. If it was a joke, like maybe a bet or something. But it was a hard, emotional show because Randy, who was my partner, was now competing and he won a title. So trying to keep my journalistic integrity together and not just go berserk for Randy was hard. And then I think it was the TOC in Connecticut where he lost. That was hard too. We got to a championship match and lost. So trying to, I remember going out, Randy was warming up, and I walked by him and, gave him a little hello. And he was so focused, he didn't notice me because he was getting ready to compete and try to win a major. So those are hard shows to call because Randy was involved in the show. It's very unique where your broadcast partner is competing. That's happened more than once with Kelly Kulick. So I've called a lot of her wins and some of her losses too. And those are tricky because you have a relationship with this person professionally, and you're rooting for them. But your job as an announcer is to call the best show you possibly can. You can't show favorites. So I think that'd be it, Lee. I think those are hard to when your broadcast partner is out of the booth and on the lanes, trying to win a championship. And you still have a job to do. So that's a good question.
Dave, is that 300 game? I can't remember.
So we did François Lavoie, U.S. Open, 2016. So we were just back there in the same center at South Point in Vegas for the Fox show, the last show before we all went home and have been idle for so long. So, excuse me. Dad coffee mug comes through. So that was an amazing 300 game to call. I did call a Sean Rash 300. That was at Oklahoma. I think it was the Bear Open when we did with CBS Sports Network, did four or five shows. Bear Wolf, Cheetah, Oklahoma Open as well. So he threw a 300. Mika Koivuniemi, at least two of his, I think. One of his, and then one with Norm Duke as well in Seattle. So I think the number, and then we've had a couple on the PWBA tour as well. So I think the number is probably 4 or 5 on TV, and they're amazing. Still amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Tommy Jones this year, that was extraordinary. The 300 game was. How do you possibly script something better than that at the Hall of Fame flat? Those games are so cool to call because you get excited, and then the Fox shows have $1 million bonus on the title match. Like there's a lot on the line. Those are, it's like a perfect game of baseball. I mean, they're pretty rare. Pretty cool.
Dave, final question for you before we let you go. You've called so many different sports,
including zebra racing now, and that wacky split roller skating kid, and the Grizzly Bears, and the wiffle ball.
Yeah, and I'm conducting an email to American Gladiators right now to try to get that show relaunched with you to be the play-by-play guy for American.
Just give me time to research it, Mike. I'll be good.
And I'm going to have Matt on a workout program. He's going to actually be one of the gladiators.
Yeah.
We got to call my like Nitro or Lace or Thunder or Zach or Gemini. So we'll find him a name, and we'll decide, Dave. It'll be your choice. But the thing I wanted to talk about, like the final topic before we get into our talk to wrap up the show. It's been an awesome time with you here. But one of the things that you and I both have a passion for is hockey. And when ESPN had the hockey contract, that's when hockey was really kind of booming there. It since has expired for quite some time. But I remember the great Barry Melrose and Bill Clement, Gary Thorne, yourself on the calls. And I actually did go look at your YouTube channel. And I do suggest you go out there and sign up for Dave's YouTube channel. Dave,
thank you. I appreciate
check them out. But I got to watch, Reddick Bonk, I believe you were talking about that Ottawa versus Toronto. You could just,
great series.
If you could just spend a few moments here just talking about your experience working in the National Hockey League and some of the folks that you worked with over there. It's therapeutic for me because it was some of the best times of my life in high school, watching those games and remembering you on the call. It was just awesome for me. So take us through NHL for me.
Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate saying that. That really makes me feel great. The break that I got, I was at ESPN a couple of years, and then the hockey coordinator asked me, "Hey, would you like to do games?" I'm like, "Of course, I like to do games." I hadn't done that many. Some high school and college hockey in Central New York on local cable. That really was the extent of my hockey experience. So I just, like every sport I've done 22 sports at this point in my career. You research and you get to know everything about the game as much as you possibly can. But this is not a high school game. It was going right to the NHL. So it's 1996, and I just remember being pretty scared. Aaron Pang was my analyst, and he was great, very welcoming. Darren, of course, obviously Mike, St. Louis, and what a great job he does with the Blues. He was my mentor. He took me under his wing and taught me a lot, as did Brian Engblom, as did Barry Melrose, as did Bobby Taylor. The Chief was one of my first analysts. Neal Smith, still a great friend, former Ranger GM, who is, I believe, the funniest human being on the face of the planet. There are very few people who can make me laugh the way Neal Smith can. Tremendous sense of humor. Great memories. I love the morning skate. I love going to the arena and then watching Gretzky, Messier, Leach skate for the Rangers. You're ringside watching these legends. It's just mind-blowing how these guys. And then the dressing room's open, and you're going in and talking to them. They're getting ready to go back to the hotel and take their nap and have their meal, get ready for the game, and you're with reporters and you're shaking hands with Wayne Gretzky. It's Grant Fuhr. I mean, there are so many legends at that point in the years I did it between 96 and 04 that stand out. It was an incredible experience. NHL playoffs in Canada, you cannot possibly top.
No way.
St. Louis fans, Islander Ranger fans, Matt, for you in the New York area, of course, Devils, it's a big deal. But I remember I was in probably Edmonton, and then you're watching Hockey Night in Canada, and they're talking about the nation's capital, like DC. No, of course it was Ottawa. Every newspaper, every TV channel, every conversation you heard on the street was about playoff game that night. So the passion that goes into hockey in Canada is unmatched. It's incredible. And those games, the games in Edmonton, the games in Ottawa, the Leafs Send series you mentioned, Mike, in Toronto. Just walking to the arena and seeing the place fill up and the place would rock all game long. And the ebb and flow of the NHL, the level of play is so extraordinary, so high. It was a huge thrill to be a part of that. And Mike, so I had some chances to work with teams as their announcer. I had a lot of interviews actually during that time. But I thought at that point my career staying with ESPN was a better idea. I was doing so many different sports, and I loved the idea of ESPN. And my kids were in Syracuse, didn't want to leave my kids. So I was a single dad at the time and splitting time with them when they were young. They're 25 and 21 now. They're long gone out of the house. So that's why I didn't take those jobs. And it really was, there were 5 good chances. And I do think about what would have happened if I had taken one of those opportunities. Let's say in 2002, well, you had a lockout, but then you're back at it, and would have been a totally different career path than the way it ended up. And now I just told you hockey at all, which is really unfortunate. So those morning skates were amazing. Getting a chance to call a game with those legends on the ice or in goal, unforgettable. Games in Uniondale on the island. I mean, because of the low ceiling in that arena, the place would just shake.
Yeah.
It was just, and really a top memory has got to be Frozen Four, Maine, Minnesota in St. Paul. Overtime, Minnesota wins the national championship. So, I'm just trying not to have my head explode as I call a game-winning goal and try to keep myself relatively sane as the place is just like exploding around you and the people are cheering Minnesota, hey, Gophers, like they're over and over again. I can still hear it in my head, man. There's some great memories about the NHL and hockey in general. I really miss a lot.
Yeah, I love sports, Dave. That I found my niche in bowling here, but one day I would love to have some sort of podcast about hockey or any other sports where we can reminisce and talk about so many other things, because it's one of the few things in my life that I look back at when my family was still together. We had season tickets before they got divorced, and it brings me back to a really happy space. So thanks for some of that with me personally. I hope the viewers enjoyed it as well. If not, it's our show, so I got to enjoy that for me. So I appreciate that very much.
And a quick follow-up, Mike, too, to hockey players in general. Like I was just having a memory while you're talking about that, about the Red Wings locker room and Lidstrom and Yzerman and the Fedorov. Everybody was so approachable. Everyone was so nice. Like hockey players in general, the egos are so low. Generally, they came from very humble backgrounds, whether it's in Europe or the wheat fields of Saskatchewan. Like the guys are so down to earth. And I just remember the time, like I was at a hotel gym and I think it was Edmonton. It was Avalanche, Oilers in a series, and I'm working out, and in comes Joe Sakic. I'm like, hey, we knew each other a little bit, just very informally, and we talked for like an hour about families, about where he grew up in Canada, about just everything but hockey. And I used some of it on the air that night in the broadcast. Like I said, yo, can I use this? Like, oh yeah, go ahead, man, whatever you want. It was, I'll never forget that. He just sat there, just talked to me as long as I wanted. Like it wasn't a clock on it. He didn't have to go and do something. Like it was amazing.
That's amazing. Well, Dave, you've been amazing. One thing bowling and hockey has in common is approachability and great personalities that are always willing to take the extra time. And that's what you've done for us here today. Dave, thanks so much for coming on. We'd love to have you on again in the future. We have no idea how long we're going to be doing this show, but thanks for being our second guest on the show on beta testing week. You're a great sport and you're a consummate professional. That's for sure.
Oh, thanks a lot, guys. Mike, Matt, thanks for having me very much. I vote for Dave Week or Dave's show. I'll get you some Daves. I'll text you some names and numbers. Just keep the Dave theme going. But to everyone watching, thanks for all your contributions, your questions, and please stay safe, stay home, listen to your local medical officials, and let's get through this thing together and get back to bowling. Can't wait to broadcast it.
Great.
Here.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, Matt. Wow, what a wonderful time spent with Dave Ryan. Your takeaways from that?
Some people just got it, LeBron James just got it. Tiger Woods, he's got it. Dave Ryan's got it. It's insane to see the level of professionalism and how talented. And Dave in his head is probably like, man, I wasn't prepared for those videos that they threw at me at all. And he still did a 1 million time better job than either of us could have done, than a normal person could do. Just a seasoned vet, honestly. And it's cool to see how those people operate, how they get to where they're going. I'm sure a lot of people are always curious, like, they see Dave Ryan on television just calling 300 games and calling people winning majors and doing all these incredible events. And they're saying, like, oh, how can I get there one day? And it's just cool to see where he's been, what he's done, and how he's gotten to where he is.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody for their time that they've spent, on the show, and we're going to continue. We'll announce our guest at the end of the show here today. We do have some other bowling news that we do want to get to here today before we go off air, and we are running a little long here because we had such a great guest. But the Collegiate Award Show is on tonight, Wednesday, April 15th. That is today at 6 p.m. Eastern. The IBMA and NCBCA award show on Bowl TV. Make sure you check that out. I did get a message from Doug Kaburski late last night thanking us for what we said yesterday on the show. Congratulations to all those collegiate teams that have received individual awards and All-American honors and such.
Yeah, it's really cool. Again, to touch on what Doug did, it's just cool to see, how great people accomplish great things. And he's a great guy, and he's just always been a standout, really kind guy. So shout out again to Doug and to everybody else that received regular season awards. It's a cool time of year.
I also saw that the USBC Open Women's Championships published a little over an hour ago on their Facebook page that the 2020 USBC Women's Championships at the South Point Bowling Plaza in Las Vegas will kick off September 19th and run through October 18th. Read more. They got the whole story over on the Las Vegas 2020 Women's Championships Facebook page. So I just saw that come through before our show today.
It's great. It's great news, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great news to see that the event will still be running. People will still have the opportunity to compete, to continue traditions. So that's really great news.
There's a lot of great things going on too with live streaming shows. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is the what is it? The beef
and Barnesy.
Yeah, the beef and Barnesy show today. I think is at 3 o'clock?
Yeah,
Central?
3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. They just started a YouTube channel as well, so maybe head over on there. I think they'll be probably streaming on both Facebook, Beef and Barnesy, YouTube, Beef and Barnesy.
Yeah, I wonder where they got that idea.
Right?
No,
right?
I'm kidding. We stole this.
Well, I was gonna say, I wonder where we got the idea to use this platform.
And then today also on Columbia 300 Facebook page, Kenny Ryan is going live, and then at 5 o'clock Eastern, Bill O'Neill is going live on the Hammer Facebook page today.
A lot going on.
Tomorrow on the Ebonite page at 5 is Tommy Jones. Sean Maldonado on the Hammer page at 11 Eastern. And then I believe Jake Peters is supposed to be going on Thursday as well. Caroline LaGrange later in the week, Clara Guerrero on Columbia 300. So there's a lot of live streams out there available. Should also mention that Storm is doing the Morning Bolt. Have been doing it for a couple of weeks. It's another good program to check out.
Yep.
And of course, Bowl TV is doing their podcast, OC podcast, and the PWBA podcast. So a lot of great options in bowling right now to be able to catch up and see how folks are doing. Plethora of content, just like we're doing here.
Yeah, it's really a cool time. It's cool to see the bowling industry and the people inside the industry become creative and utilize the tools at their disposal to keep everybody entertained, keep everybody informed, and do what we can in this really kind of strange time.
Belmo also has Clara on today at 7 o'clock Eastern. I did see that as well. So just so much content out there for you to be able to take advantage of. The PBA today, I believe, is also launching a video with Coley Edison doing some rapid fire questions with Belmo today. And then also our friends at Bowler X also are doing a fun match game show. Their game shows are releasing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Facebook and YouTube. So just a lot of great stuff out there. I do have a couple of closing things, housekeeping messages here for everyone. Is if you want to get on board with helping the show and keeping the show going, you can head over to InsideBowling.com. Check out our merch that we have available. You can save 15% with coupon code MF2. That's because it's Matt Farber and Mike Flanagan. There's two of us, MF2. MF2 is the coupon code. So if you'd like to support the program, you can do so by picking up some merch over there and using that great coupon code. And also today was a really big day for us on the YouTube channel as we launched the first of 16 weekly episodes of Tips with Coach Mike Shady, Team USA coach Mike Shady. Today it's how to prepare for the 2020 USBC Open Championships, when and if those ever occur. But we had that one in the can for a while and wanted to get it out there. So make sure you check that out. Help support Mike. There's a revenue share on the ad revenue from that goes to Mike for his coaching career, and we want to make sure that one of the best coaches in the world gets seen out there. So we went and shot 16 episodes with him back in February, and we were holding this one for a while due to coronavirus, but it was just time to get going. So hopefully you enjoy that program. I know you had a chance to check it out, Matt. What'd you think?
I think I may be biased here, but I think it was really well done. I think Coach Shady is incredible. I think he does a really good job of breaking down the different components of the bowling game, whether it's physical, mental, the preparation that goes into it, whether it's equipment, whether it's lane play. There are so many variables. We talked about it a little bit yesterday with Dave Lamont and how many variables there are in the game of bowling and how hard it can be sometimes, people bowling on different lanes, using different equipment, different topography issues. There's so many things that go into preparing for an event, especially a big event like the Open Championships. So it's great. And the information in that video can be used for any tournament, really. I mean, it can be used for league. It can be used for practice. There's drills in there. There's really big takeaways that you can utilize even while you're at home. You can use some of those drills while you're at home if you can't even get back out onto lanes yet. So I know that, again, everybody's out there. They're really trying to find some videos and some content to watch. So that's just another way that we're trying to contribute to that.
Well, Matt, this show's gone by way too fast, sir.
Always does, man.
The good news is we get to come back again tomorrow.
Yep.
And we'll keep doing this for a while. And if you like the show, share it. Let people know about it. Call your friends. We'd like to see where this thing goes.
Yeah. Host a watch party on Facebook. Do whatever you'd like. Honestly.
Doherty did that yesterday.
Yeah.
So
be like
this is beta testing. We'll see if we can play the same song going out as we did coming in. Matt, I'd like to thank you again for all your time you're putting into the show, man.
Yeah, Mike. Thanks for linking up and doing this together. This is a lot of fun, man. I'm enjoying this.
We'll be back tomorrow. There it is. There it is. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for today's show. We'd like to thank you for joining us on the Inside Bowling Show. Be well, Be safe. We will see you tomorrow with our guest. Continuing Dave week. It's Dave Wadka tomorrow. We'll see you, everybody.